Hello and welcome to part 6 of our Let's Play Modded Skyrim. Last time we had a nice nap for about 8 hours in Gerda and Hod's house, and we wake up feeling quite peckish and wanting to eat. The recording cut it out, but basically in the top left corner you get a message saying that your character feels peckish and feels hungry and thirsty. So we'll drink this Nord mead for breakfast along with some cheese and see what else there is to eat. And there seems to be a lot of food on this table that I can take. There are a few items here that are marked with a red steel sign, but the food's not one of them, and you can take as much food as you'd like. The bread is especially worth taking because it's quite light and it counts as 2 meals. You don't have to end up cooking it either. For some reason, the slaughterfish doesn't actually count as food because it doesn't have a light snack description next to it. You can see on the goat's wedge it says a light snack, and on the bread it says a medium meal. So I think the seared slaughterfish is a waste of time, and I'll just end up eating it all, I think, because it's not useful. When you eat food, even when you're in the first person perspective, you get a slight animation of eating, which means that eating food isn't going to be that useful in combat because it will delay things. If you zoom out on the third person perspective, you can actually see him having the eating and drinking animation. I think it would be a nice thing if you could have that drinking animation in combat as well, for potions. If you've ever played Dark Souls, I know I keep on going on about Dark Souls, but you've got to time your healing by drinking the Estus flasks, and I think it would be really good if in Skyrim someone could code that in a mod, so you have to time the drinking of healing potions. Because right now you can quaff 5 or 6 healing potions. I suppose you take them intravenously. It doesn't really hold you up at all. Now I'm feeling a lot fitter. What I think I'll go ahead and do is try and steal some steel ingots from this blacksmith. Not watching me or anything. And although these steel ingots are worth 20, I can't really sell them. But I can use the blacksmith's grindstone to try and improve my equipment. And going ahead and improving my equipment is going to be very useful. I'm only a level 1 character, so very weak, so I need all the help that I can get. I'm not very good at smithing, so I basically improve my steel imperial sword from 14 up to 16, and I can improve the iron dagger from 11 upwards as well. There's not much use of holding on to the steel ingots anyway, because if a guard magically finds out that you've got stolen goods on you, you end up going to prison, and I don't want that happening. What I think I'll try and do is see if I can improve any of my armor with the steel ingots, but I don't think so because I've got primarily light armor, and that needs leather, and I don't have any leather at the moment. The way to get leather, of course, is to kill animals like wolves and bears, and then you can collect their hides and turn them into leather, or you can buy it from the blacksmith, but that's quite expensive as well. What I'll do instead is I'll have no use for these ingots, and I'll dump all these ingots on the floor. Blacksmith won't mind in the morning, he'll just think a chicken got into it. And I don't think he'll mind anyway, because what usually happens in these little piles of ingots or piles of food is that they regenerate after a time. So he's got a constant source of steel and iron anyway, so I don't feel too bad from stealing from him. I have 2 choices now. I can either go explore or carry on with my missions. Don't want to end up stealing a horse. I notice this character over here, he's an inclusion. You get him in the normal game. He doesn't have any unique dialogue though. He's just quite rude and says, "What do you want?" There's actually quite a few characters like this around, and I don't think it really detracts from the game having these characters without dialogue, because without these NPCs wandering around, the world doesn't really seem as alive. I just want to discuss one other mod that I completely forgot to mention before. So before we do any of the other missions, what I'm going to do is reload to a point where we left Gerda's house and then discuss that mod. So I'll see you for part 7.